Now on Coast TV News.
Sensitive site standoff.
I just don't think this is anything that we intended.
The effect a proposed development would have to one Milton household and why a decision on its plans was delayed.
Delaware Donation Day. We look at the annual event that looks to give a boost to nonprofits in the first state.
It's Thursday morning and we're battling fog, damp conditions out there this morning. We're going to have quite a temperature gradient across the area today, a cooler Friday and a big weekend warm-up.
Bike path protection, how a bill making its way through the Maryland General Assembly could create more protection for bicyclists.
This is Coast TV News Today.
And we are continuing with our 6 o'clock hour. Good morning, I'm Matt Pensick.
Good morning, Matt. I'm Grace Eckerly. Thank you for joining us this morning. And Matt, it's a Thursday.
Yeah, we have an hour here that we've been tracking the foggy conditions along the coast, and that visibility has gone down quite a bit. Let's get a live look now at Ocean City. This is along the boardwalk towards the inlet. Boy, we're seeing that thick fog. If it weren't for those lights on the boardwalk, it'd just be a gray image, and that thickness has increased over the past hour.
And about 28 miles to the north, here's a look at Coastal Highway in Rehoboth Beach. Video from just moments ago, not as foggy as taking a look into Ocean City, but you can definitely see the haze that is gathering around those street lamps.
Yeah, we have been tracking that fog, and we continue to get updates from school districts. A number of those are operating under 2-hour delays, so to check that, Grace, we drive you to our Coast TV website for a full list of those 2-hour delays this morning.
That's right, Matt. And to talk more about that fog and the weather for today, we're turning now to First Alert Meteorologist Chris Mastrobono for a look at the forecast as you're preparing to make your way out the door on this Thursday morning. Hello, Chris.
Good morning, Grace and Matt. Yeah, allow for some patience this morning. Take your time out there. You can see this is our shot from Ocean View. Can't really see much. Here's the flagpole off to the right. 39 degrees, calm winds. Dew point almost identical to the air temperature, so perfect recipe for fog to form. We've seen even more fog push in off the Atlantic through Ocean City, where visibility is down to 1/4 of a mile, and that fog pretty dense throughout portions of Dorchester County as well. Now we have a dense marine fog advisory. This is up through 6 o'clock, whereas that fog, I think, is going to linger, especially along the Delaware beaches, and then down through Ocean City and Chincoteague. That runs through about 10 o'clock this morning. We had a brief round of showers overnight, but we're pretty much dry and free of any rain concerns. But that rain will stay to our north at least through the day today, and then we'll see those shower chances increase tonight. We're at 43 in Cambridge with that dense fog. Winds are calm. We're at 41 in Long Neck, 41 in Milford. As I mentioned, winds are relatively calm, but that wind flow is out of the southeast. Temperatures all over the place today. 50s at the coast with fog. I think we could sneak out a 70-degree temperature or two, like places like Seaford, Georgetown through Salisbury, and then we are generally in the mid to upper 60s through the eastern shore. We'll talk about a big warm-up from the weekend into next week coming up.
Thank you, Chris. And our top story this hour is Do More 24. That is a 24-hour day of giving in Delaware, and it begins tonight at 6.
That's right, Matt. And Coast TV's news reporter, Lisa Weber, she's in our newsroom. Lisa, this day is designed to not only help nonprofits, but also to encourage people to give back.
Good morning, Matt and Grace. In 12 hours, Do More 24 2026. It's going to kick off and it will run until tomorrow, March 6th at 6 p.m. And Do More 24 is also known as Delaware's Day of Giving. The goal is to inspire Delawareans to come together for 24 hours and contribute as much as they can financially to the causes and organizations they support. In order to find organizations that are participating, you can check out the Do More 24 website. Donations through Do More 24 Delaware will be processed through the website, which allows nonprofits and donors to track how much is raised over the 24-hour period. Do More 24 Delaware offers thousands of dollars in unrestricted funding and other cash and non-cash incentives to provide a little excitement, start some friendly competition, and help donors make their dollars go further. According to the website, there are a total of 853 fundraisers participating this year. Again, Do More 24 kicks off this evening at 6 o'clock and runs until tomorrow evening at 6 o'clock. Back to you.
Thank you, Elisa. Terrace Village, that is one of the approved ones to participate in Do More 24. The Lewis-based nonprofit has set a $20,000 goal to help cover some operating costs. This includes utilities, maintenance, safety, and resident support. Organizers say the campaign is aimed at boosting donors while providing shelter, stability, and dignity for those facing homelessness.
And the Mayor Institute is also gearing up for this year's Do More 24 campaign. That's the 24-hour fundraising event after surpassing expectations last year. The organization is now raising money for a new seal triage facility to provide extended care for rescued seals.
Sussex County Planning and Zoning Commission deferred a vote on the River's Edge project. Developers want to build 187 single-family homes here on the northeast side of Cave Neck Road in Milton. And part of the reason for the deferral, the 125 acres off of Cave Neck Road is being labeled environmentally sensitive by the commission. Regina Pepper lives next to this site. She says she and her husband are worried about the loss of 43 acres of trees and question if a 50-yard buffer from their property is enough.
I just don't think this is anything that we intended. I don't think when he built his home that this is anything that he had planned on seeing.
In response, the developer's attorney said that they would review the buffer, revise plans if needed, and are willing to share details with the Peppers to ensure compliance. Now, at that hearing, the developer's lawyer stated the company is, quote, trying to preserve habitat to the maximum extent possible, but also said that doesn't mean don't develop the property.
And new this morning, a quote from the development's lawyers about the projects, saying, quote, this is a good project that fully complies with the Sussex County's development requirements, end quote. Now, it is important to note that the project is located on the former Totem Farms property. And according to developers, the project would use a cluster design that allows the grouping of homes, which is designed to preserve portions of open space.
And again, no decision from Planning and Zoning on the River Edge development this week. One commission member says if it does get approved, the project should come with significant changes before it goes to Sussex County Council. The record for this, staying open for now, at least for 10 more days.
In developing news in Ocean City this morning, the location that you're seeing on your screen right now is where police say a serious crash took place on Wednesday night. Police and fire crews both responding to a car crash on Coastal Highway Wednesday night, where officials say it happened near the southbound lanes of 123rd Street, which caused the roadway to be blocked. And northbound Coastal Highway from 120th to 123rd Street was reduced to one lane while crews worked. According to the Ocean City Fire Department, several people were taken to a nearby trauma center, and we'll provide more updates as they become available.
Here's a live look at Delaware's capital city of Dover. Again, fog has been increasing there as well. We're tracking it all morning. This location that you see on your screen, it's a few blocks south of Legislative Hall. And later this morning, the Justice 40 Oversight Committee are holding their 9th meeting since its inception. The Justice 40 initiative was created by former President Joe Biden when he was in office, with the stated goal of ensuring federal taxpayer money for climate and clean energy goes to disadvantaged communities. And here are some of the key recommendations they're looking at today. Develop statewide equity focus areas. These are areas that are normally have a high concentration of lower income people and people with limited English proficiency. Also establish a state office of sustainability. This is to coordinate environmental plans and pass legislation that creates a relocation plan for communities affected by pollution.
New this morning, possible protections for bike lanes in Maryland. According to the Maryland General Assembly, a hearing is set for this afternoon for House Bill 1381. The legislation would ban people and drivers from stopping, standing, or parking in a bike lane. And if passed, officials say the new rules would take effect in October. Maryland leaders will gather for this hearing at 1 p.m.
And the American public and lawmakers are voicing concern over the war with Iran, and we're seeing a split over the president's actions.
NBC's Alice Barr shows us how Congress failed at trying to limit President Trump's war powers, while Pentagon leaders say the U.S. is winning.
Air raid sirens in Jerusalem this morning and new explosions in Tehran as the U.S. and Israel trade fire with Iran. The message from the Pentagon and the White House that the U.S. is winning and larger waves of strikes are coming.
Their missiles are being wiped out rapidly.
President Trump arguing striking Iran was necessary to keep the regime from developing a nuclear weapon.
When crazy people have nuclear weapons, bad things happen.
Critics in Congress, dissatisfied with the administration's explanations, pushed a resolution to limit the president's war powers without congressional approval, but Senate Republicans voted it down. That amid new details, a senior U.S. official confirmed to NBC News that Israel's prime minister called President Trump last Monday to say Iran's supreme leader would be meeting with his top advisors on Saturday, offering a chance to take them all out at once.
That obviously had an impact on the timeline of the operation, but not quite the president's decision in its entirety.
Trump officials point to a breakdown in nuclear talks with Iran last Thursday and the president's belief Iran would strike first. New polling from NBC News shows a majority of Americans surveyed disapprove of the president's handling of the situation in Iran, as families mourn the 6 U.S. service members killed in Iranian counterstrikes on Kuwait, where they were stationed. Among them, 20-year-old Sergeant Declan Cody.
I just wish he could have known one more time that we all loved him because he was so amazing and kind.
Now, Americans across the Middle East scrambling to get to safety with the administration promising help. In Washington, Alice Barr, NBC News.
New this morning, the Sussex County Land Trust has been named the 2026 Conservation Stewardship Award winner in the Green Conservation category by the Sussex Conservation District. Organizers say that the award highlights work in Hudson Park in Lewis. What was once farmland has been redesigned using stormwater systems and phased construction that officials say was aimed at reducing runoff, preventing erosion, and protecting nearby forests. And for more information on what the award is and what's next for the park, you can head to the article on our website, CoastTV.com.
Sussex County Habitat for Humanity celebrated a milestone, dedicating the 5th house in its Milford home ownership project. According to the nonprofit, the project is a neighborhood revitalization effort that will bring 9 affordable homes to the area.
And we're just getting started here on this hour of Coast TV News today.
Coming up on Coast TV News today in the 6 o'clock hour, Tidal Health Atlantic announcement, what changes are coming to the hospital in Berlin.
Also, Milford planned outage. What areas of the city will be without power one day next week and why?
But first, one patrol car, dozens of donations, and a community coming together. How one cruiser is helping fight hunger in Millsboro. And that's next on this week's Coastal Connections. And Coast TV News Today continues after the break.
The Millsboro Police Department is teaming up with Chorus Wellness and Behavioral Health to help fight hunger one donation at a time. Coast TV's Nicole Richter shows us how the community is coming together to help support neighbors in need.
So yeah, you can see it's starting to fill up quite a bit.
Outside the Millsboro Police Department, a patrol car wasn't responding to emergency calls. It was helping the hungry. The department partnered with Chorus, a local nonprofit, for its Stuff the Cruiser food drive, inviting the community to donate non-perishable items for local families in need.
We need to help one another.
Police say every item collected goes directly to local food pantries. For Clay Hayward, who works with Chorus, the mission hits close to home.
It means a lot because myself, I'm a recovering addict. I have like 17 years clean now. And, it's good to give back, not forgetting where you came from.
Police Chief David Moyer says food insecurity remains a challenge for many households in Millsboro, and events like this help address the issue.
We want to get to the root of a lot of the issues here in Millsboro crime-wise, and Coors is doing their part to help the community, and anything that we can do to kind of support their mission and their cause, we're all about it.
Organizers say the need for food assistance has grown in recent years, especially for working families who may not qualify for certain aid programs, but still struggle to make ends meet. Community members like Dale Argott say giving back is part of their calling.
One of the things that my wife and I really believe in as clergy in this community is that it's important to help those, the Bible gives us commandments to help the least of these, and so that's why we want to just be a small part of that.
Bringing law enforcement, nonprofits, and the community together under one shared goal. For Coastal Connections, I'm Nicole Richter.
It is 6:19 and you are looking live at Salisbury on the fog cover there. Chris, we have seen the thickness grow this morning, meaning there is a decrease in visibility as the hours keep clicking along here.
Yeah, we've seen visibility lower than a quarter of a mile, especially throughout portions of Dorchester County and then along the beaches. Here in Cambridge, yeah, we've been battling that fog throughout the morning, so take your time out there. 43 right now. We have calm winds, perfect recipe for fog across the area, and we're now up to 3 miles there in Georgetown. But you could see along the coast from Wallops down through up through Ocean City, visibility as low as a quarter of a mile. Now the fog may linger through most of the day from the bay into the Delaware beaches. You can see that dense marine fog advisory up through 6 o'clock. Further to the south, Ocean City through Chincoteague, that runs through 10 o'clock this morning. So we're in the upper 30s at the beaches, lower to mid 40s inland, 42 Georgetown, 43 in Bridgeville. Winds are relatively calm across the area this morning. We are dry, free of any rain at this hour. Most of the showers are well to our north, and that's how it's going to stay through the day today. But we are expecting another round of some shower drizzle activity later on tonight with another round of fog. Well, we're going to have quite a temperature contrast across the area. It's going to be all about location, and we're going to be socked in the cloud cover for one more day tomorrow before we see some big time improvement into the weekend. So futurecast by the afternoon, notice this. Some clearing there, some clouds begin to break, and that warm slot there, western Sussex County, Georgetown, Millsboro, down through Salisbury, but the fog lingering at the beaches, and then the drizzle, patchy showers through the overnight with another round of some fog in through early Friday. So again, it's all about location today. I think if someone sees a 70-degree temperature, western Sussex down through portions of Wicomico into the southern portions of the midshore, most of the beach areas will stay in the 50s today. There's that drizzle to start for our Friday. We're going to have an east wind tomorrow with a lot of clouds. So you know what that means. We're going to struggle to get out of the 40s and 50s. And then we start the weekend with a little fog Saturday and then much better improvements by the afternoon. So if you want the 70s and 80s, you got to go down to Richmond, Norfolk, down to the Carolinas for Friday, because we're going to be socked in that with that backdoor cold front. But then that front shifts back to the north into Saturday, and then we're going to see 60s and 70s through most of the area. Cooler temperatures at the coast over the weekend, and then a weak front's going to be pushing through Sunday, giving us a slight chance of a shower. But then there's those temperatures everybody's been wanting. Early next week, 73 into Monday, mostly sunny skies, and then we could be challenging some potential record highs into Wednesday.
Thank you, Chris. Now, it's hard to talk about those temperatures when we're still seeing snow on the ground, and Milford officials say that there will be a planned power outage next Wednesday, March 11th at 8 a.m. They say that although crews work to restore power during that winter storm that we had, some infrastructure requires permanent repairs to ensure that continued safety and reliability are ensured. The city says that customers along Elks Lodge Road and Orchard Hill will be affected, and it is important to note that Pam Health Rehabilitation Center and Bay Health Hospital Sussex campus will not be affected.
Dover City Council has denied $47,000 in funding to the People's Church, which is a homeless shelter. This was a unanimous vote against the request after community members expressed concerns about the increase in crime in the area. Church leaders say the money would have supported workforce development programs to help keep people off the streets.
Can decrease the property value with having that type of facility offering those services because of the people that would be around.
We need help solving those problems. The fact that we feed people dinner at night is not the reason that they have mental illness, and it doesn't cause drug addiction, and it doesn't cause homelessness. So we need help solving these problems together.
And church leaders say that despite the funding denial, the center will stay open, drawing support from other sources, including a planned $350,000 grant from Delaware's Prescription Opioid Distribution Settlement Commission.
And up next on Coast TV News Today, Tidal Health Atlantic announcement, how health officials are reacting as the former Atlantic General now joins Tidal Health. We'll be right back. The former Atlantic General Hospital in Berlin now has a new name. Tidal Health representatives announced the hospital's name as Tidal Health Atlantic, saying that this change represents the hospital joining the Tidal Health system and the bringing of two systems together. Cody Taylor, a physician at the hospital, says that while there is also an implementation of a new patient portal for this location, the care that patients receive won't change.
It just really helps the patients of Delmarva to get that good, consistent care and not be affected by having the happenstance of, oh, my heart doctor's over here and my GI doctor's over there and they don't talk to each other. It just makes communication better, it makes information better, and for physicians, for people in the medical community, the more information we have, that's always the best for the patients.
And Wednesday's ceremony included the reveal of the hospital's new Skyline sign and the announcement that all Atlantic General Health System locations will now take on the Tidal Health name.
Good Thursday morning, Delmarva. We've been tracking some rather dense fog, especially at the beaches where visibility has been less than a quarter of a mile here in Ocean View, where it's 39 degrees. So allow for some extra time venturing out to your destination this morning. And we're going to be dealing with the fog for most of the day from Ocean City to Fenwick Island. And that's going to keep temperatures generally in the lower to mid 50s. From Lewis to Rehoboth, we start with fog, mostly cloudy skies through the day today. And I think that fog is going to hold pretty stubborn throughout the day today. It does break apart through Cambridge through the afternoon and Crisfield. I think we will see some breaks in those clouds through the latter part of the morning into the early part of the afternoon. Christine Lodge, Lewis, Delaware, congratulations on winning an umbrella from Coast TV. We will finally talk about that warm-up everyone's been waiting for in our next half hour.
And after the break on Coast TV News today, river spill cleanup. What we know about the efforts in Salisbury overnight.
Also, development delay, why Sussex County officials are not yet greenlighting a project in Milton.
And fundraising campaign kicks off. What some Sussex County organizations plan to do with money raised during this year's Do More 24 campaign. Coast TV News Today continues after the break.
Now on Coast TV News.
Nonprofit Need, the day of giving in Delaware that ramps up today in the financial goals of the Do More 24 campaign.
Climate cash for communities. We look at the recommendations that could move forward from a committee in Delaware's General Assembly focused on climate and clean energy priorities.
Buffer battle, why plans for several acres of trees has led to one family pushing back against a proposed housing development in Milton.
It's Thursday morning and we're battling fog, damp conditions out there this morning. We're going to have quite a temperature gradient across the area today, a cooler Friday and a big weekend warm-up.
This is Coast TV News Today.
March 5th, 2026. Good morning, everybody. I'm Matt Pensick. Good morning, Grace.
Good morning, Matt. I'm Grace Eckerly. Thank you for joining us today on this lovely Thursday.
Yeah, we are dealing with a foggy morning. You just heard Chris talk about it. So let's get a first-hand look. We sent our photographer Tyler out in our First Alert weather Jeep. There he is right now. He's riding along Coastal Highway, heading north. He's in the Rehoboth Beach area, heading towards Lewis. As you can see, the foggy conditions along our coastal communities. It's been a thickness that has been developing over the last couple of hours.
That's right, Matt, and that's a great view from the roads. Now let's go look above. Foggy start to our morning. This is the view from Ocean City. Now with less lights on, you can barely see. We are looking at a dreary start to the morning where visibility is very limited here near the Isle of White Bay.
Yeah, usually you can see across the bay in that shot on a normal morning. In Delaware, here is Dewey Beach. This is just moments ago. This is the area where Coastal Highway bends into the downtown area. Fog is intense, not as intense as in Ocean City, but you can see it. It's still a thickness that will cause some issues when you're driving in that area. So it is 6:32 a.m. It is also a fog, Grace, that has caused a number of schools to put in delays this morning.
Yes, Matt, and we do have the crawl going at the bottom of the screen now for any delays that are happening, and we have more information on our website, coasttv.com. But for now, let's get a First Alert meteorologist Chris Mastrobono as he is getting us ready to head out the door. Good morning, Chris.
Good morning, Grace and Matt. Yeah, it's one of those mornings. We're dealing with really dense fog out there, so you want to use caution, allow for some extra time when you're venturing out driving in your car to your destination. We're at 39 right now in Ocean View. Can't really see much there. You see the American flag there to my right. And we've improved visibility a little here in Georgetown. We were as low as a quarter of a mile, but still dealing with some pretty dense fog through Dorchester County, down through Salisbury, and then especially along the coast, right down through Ocean City and through Wallops Island. Now, that dense marine fog advisory. It's been extended through 6 o'clock. So that fog is going to be pretty stubborn, I think, for the Delaware beaches and then down through Ocean City. We have that fog advisory up through about 10 a.m. this morning with visibility as low as a quarter of a mile. We had a few light showers overnight, so a lot of moisture on the ground. Calm winds, perfect recipe for fog to develop. But you can see we're pretty dry back off to the west. And I think we're going to see some breaks in those clouds allow for some sun, especially across the interior portion of the peninsula. 43 right now in Cambridge. We're at 42, Milton 41 in Milford, 43 in Delmar. Winds relatively light, but slowly out of the southeast. So as I've been mentioning, there's going to be a wide range in temperature. Cooler at the coast with the fog, 50s. I think we could touch near 70. Western Sussex down through Wycomico, Dorchester County, 68 in the eastern shore, with some breaks in those clouds. We'll talk about an even cooler, cloudy Friday before that warm-up really begins into the weekend and early next week.
Thank you, Chris. Our top story this half hour is Do More 24. That's a 24-hour day of giving in Delaware. It begins this evening at 6 o'clock.
Yes, it does. And Coast TV's Elisa Weber is in our newsroom. And this is a day designed to not only help nonprofits, but also to encourage people to give back. Good morning, Elisa.
Good morning, Matt and Grace. In less than 12 hours, Do More 24 is going to kick off, and it will run until tomorrow, March 6th at 6 p.m. And Do More 24 is also known as Delaware's Day of Giving. The goal is to inspire Delawareans to come together for 12 hours and contribute as much as they can financially to the causes and organizations that they support. In order to find those organizations, you can check out the Do More 24 website. Donations through Do More 24 Delaware will be processed through the website, which allows nonprofits and donors to track how much is raised over the 12-hour giving period. Do More 24 Delaware offers thousands of dollars in unrestricted funding and other cash and non-cash incentives to provide a little excitement, start some friendly competition, and help donors make their dollars go further. According to the website, there are a total of 853 fundraisers participating this year. Again, Do More 24 kicks off this evening at 6 o'clock and will run until tomorrow evening at 6 o'clock. Back to you.
Thank you, Elisa. We are now taking a live look into Delaware's capital city of Dover. We are picking up more fog every half hour when we check in on this camera. But this is just a few blocks to the south of Legislative Hall. And later this morning, the Justice 40 Oversight Committee is holding its 9th meeting since its inception. The Justice 40 initiative was created by former President Joe Biden when he was in office, and the stated goal is to ensure federal taxpayer money for climate and clean energy goes to disadvantaged communities. And here are some of those key recommendations. Number 1, develop statewide equity focus areas. And these are areas that normally have higher concentrations of lower income people and individuals with limited English proficiency. 2, establish a state office of sustainability to coordinate environmental plans. And 3, pass legislation that creates a relocation plan for communities that are affected by pollution.
Sussex County's Planning and Zoning Commission deferred a vote on the River's Edge project this week. Developers are looking to build nearly 200 single-family homes on the northeast side of Cave Neck Road in Milton. As
Coast TV's Christina DiRoberta shows us, Wednesday night, a public hearing brought in lots of neighbor feedback as developers tried to make their case.
These 125 acres off Cave Neck Road labeled environmentally sensitive by Sussex County Planning and Zoning Wednesday. It's part of the reason the commission deferred a vote on the River's Edge project, which would bring almost 200 homes to the area. It's also why Joaquin Cortez dressed up as a hedgehog to state his opposition in the public hearing.
They don't consider like the animals like that, so I thought I took it upon myself to come out and kind of speak to them about it.
The applicant's attorney said today the company is, quote, trying to preserve habitat to the maximum extent possible, but also said, quote, that doesn't mean don't develop the property.
This is our front yard.
Now that was Regina Pepper, who lives next to the site. She says she and her husband are worried about the loss of 43 acres of trees and whether a 50-yard buffer from their front yard is enough.
I just don't think this is anything that we intended. I don't think when he built his home that this is anything that he had planned on seeing.
In response, the developer's attorney said they would review the buffer and revise plans if needed, and that they're willing to share details with the Peppers to ensure compliance. Christina DiRoberta, Coast TV News.
And new this morning, a quote from the development's lawyers about the project saying This is a good project that fully complies with Sussex County's development requirements, end quote. Now, it is important to note that this is on the former Totem Farms property, and according to developers, the project would use a cluster design that allows the grouping of homes, which is designed to preserve portions of open space.
New overnight, crews worked to clean up what they say was a spill on the Wicomico River, and here's some of the images that we got from that. According to the Salisbury Fire Department, they responded along with the Wicomico Emergency Management and the Department of Natural Resources, and you can see the crews using tools to contain the spill. This is a developing story, and information about this is limited at this time.
New this morning, the Sussex County Land Trust has been named the 2026 Conservation Stewardship Award winner in the Green Conservation category by the Sussex Conservation District. Organizers say that the award highlights work at Hudson Park in Lewis. What was once farmland has been redesigned using stormwater systems and phased construction that officials say was aimed at reducing runoff, preventing erosion, and protecting the nearby forest.
Sussex County Habitat for Humanity celebrated a milestone dedicating the 5th house in its Milford homeownership project. It's a project that's a neighborhood revitalization effort that will bring 9 affordable homes to the area, according to the nonprofit, and this project is designed to expand affordable housing opportunities in Milford.
This just in, the war with Iran, Israel now pushing forward with its bombardment, including hitting military targets on the ground and battling the Islamic Republic's forces in the sky. The U.S. continuing its operation in the war, and on Wednesday, the Pentagon publicly identifying 2 remaining service members who were killed in a drone attack in Kuwait on Sunday.
I just wish he could have known one more time that we all loved him because he was so amazing and kind.
The service members identified this week were among the 6 service total members who died in that attack.
And we have a lot more news to get to in this final half hour. Don't go anywhere.
Coming up on CoastTV News today, Virginia reviews recreation weed sales, the new moves from lawmakers after years of failed attempts.
Also, quarterfinals on the line. 2 Henlopen Conference teams battling for 1 spot in the girls' state basketball tournament. Stay with us on CoastTV News today. Yeah, we continue to track this foggy morning. Here are the road conditions. We're on Coastal Highway now. This is in the Lewis-Milton area, in between there. Our photographer Tyler is heading towards Cave Neck Road in Milton, but you can see he's still on Coastal Highway. I know where this is. This is just right past the 5 Points area. You're gonna have the Home Depot on the left. You're gonna have the Nicola's Pizza will eventually be on the right.
Are those your usual haunts?
Places I'm familiar with, but you can definitely get a look at the foggy conditions on the road right now. And to tell us more about the fog this morning, let's go to First Alert meteorologist Chris Mastrobono.
Good morning, Matt and Grace. Yeah, it's one of those mornings we've been balancing very dense fog. We've had visibilities less than 1/4 of a mile, so you want to use caution out there when venturing out on the roads, especially through the morning. The fog's going to be a bit stubborn, especially in the Delaware beaches as we go throughout the day. You can see visibility where we're down to 0 there in Cambridge, down to 1/4 of a mile through Salisbury and Ocean City, and this is the most dense we've seen it so far this morning. We're at 40 right now in Ocean City. Most of the shower activity is to our north, so we are dry. In fact, expecting some breaks in those clouds late this morning through the afternoon, especially away from the beaches. But as I mentioned, we're going to be socked in the fog. Very misty conditions from Lewis, Rehoboth, Dewey, with temperatures holding in the mid to upper 50s. We'll talk about some potential record highs maybe in that 7-day forecast. I'll have more on that here in a little bit.
Okay, Chris, Humane Animal Partners says it will offer free spay and neuter to Delawareans. It's part of a program that they're partnering with the Office of Animal Welfare to provide this service. Low-income pet owners who participate, they will also get a free rabies vaccination for their animals. And HAP says this is taking place next week, March 10th, at its Wilmington location, also March 20th in Christiana, and people can call to schedule appointments.
Also new this morning, an opportunity for a free handgun lockbox. The Wicomico County Health Department now offering the tool at several upcoming pop-up events. Organizers say that people who live and or work in Wicomico County are eligible and no IDs required. The next event will take place April 18th, with more dates to be announced.
The Delmarva Sports Network from the Wawa Studios.
Well, I'll give you a hint. It's either the 4-seed Smyrna or the 13-seed Early College High School. Both Cape Henlopen and Caesar Rodney fell last night, so it would come down to the Hornets or the Eagles, and it's the Eagles. Smyrna rolled to a 63-24 win last night. In each quarter, the Eagles scored double-digit points and held the Hornets to single digits. Fittingly, the lone senior on Smyrna's roster led the way. Amaya Ellerby scored a game-high 26 points. Sophomore Gabrielle Royal chipped in with 12 points as well. Now, you've got to give credit to ECHS. The Hornets went 17-6 and won the Henlopen South, but now their season has come to a close. Smyrna, who didn't even make the Henlopen title game, is the final team from the conference headed into the state quarterfinals. Next up for Smyrna is a clash with 12-seeded Concord. A win would send the Eagles to their first state semifinal since 2011. That'll do it for sports. Have a great day, everyone.
And coming up tonight on DSN, we've got some live college basketball for you. First at 5:30, Maryland Eastern Shore and Delaware State, the women's teams go at it, and then that is followed by the men's game. You can catch the final score tonight at 10:30.
If you're having a rough week, cheer up with a weekly dose of local good news from CoastTV with fun things to do, personal features, and more each weekend. You can sign up now for free at coasttv.com/sign up to get your weekly dose of joy directly to your inbox on Friday. And now here's what you can look forward to this afternoon on Coast Life at 4 p.m.
Happy Thursday, Delmarva, and if you join us today at 4 o'clock, here's what's coming your way on Coast Life. Good eats and an amazing view. You're going to find that in Ocean City. Also, 302 Day is being celebrated with our friends at Dogfish. We've got all of the details that you need to know. And it's Thursday. We are spilling some tea, spilling some drama, this time at the Spice and Tea Exchange on Rehoboth Avenue in Rehoboth Beach. All of that and more is coming your way today at 4 on Coast Life. We'll see you then.
Well, we're going to have that fog at least through the morning. We'll be a little stubborn at the coast. I think it's going to hang on through the afternoon. Quite a temperature difference across the peninsula. I'll have details of when we'll shed this murky, dreary weather pattern coming up.
And the time is now 6:49 a.m. as we're taking a live look out into Cambridge. And if you join us on our mornings around this time, we like to do a sunrise reveal of the day. Eesh, not really much to look out here today, Chris.
Yeah, we've had this stalled out front, and it's been producing a lot of dreary conditions for us over the last few days here on Delmarva. And you can see that fog's been pretty dense at the coast, especially in Ocean View down through Ocean City. 39 degrees, winds are calm. We had a little shower activity overnight, so a lot of moisture on the ground. A perfect recipe for fog. We're down to 0 there through portions of Dorchester County, and you can see that fog pretty thick from Salisbury down through Wallops in through Ocean City. Now, what we've been mentioning, the fog lingering kind of a bit stubborn here along the coast through the afternoon. That's why the National Weather Service has that dense marine fog advisory up through 6 o'clock tonight. And then from Ocean City down through Chickateague, that runs through 10 a.m. Temperatures 39 Indian River Inlet to 42 Redden. We're up to 44 right now in Laurel with winds. We're going to shift a little out of the southwest through the afternoon. Most of the showers have been to our north. We had a little showers overnight, but you can see we're pretty dry here to the southwest. I think we're going to see some breaks in those clouds through the morning and into the afternoon, especially across the southern portion of the peninsula, but there is more shower activity back off to the west. And you can see the sun trying to break through the fog there, and we're going to have quite a temperature gradient across the area today. Cooler at the coast. You see Futurecast here, 58 Ellendale, upper 40s, lower 50s at the beaches with that fog, but you notice here this pocket of warmer air as the fog begins to break there. Skies begin to break a little. We get some sunshine. We'll warm up pretty quickly in the upper 60s to near 70, and then another round of showers and drizzle, fog. We do it all over again tomorrow morning, and then we're going to be socked in the cloud cover through the day tomorrow. Highs 51 Lewis, 55 Bethany Beach to 68 Georgetown. This is the sector where we could see temperatures get to near 70 degrees this afternoon. By our Friday, we're all back into the cloud cover. East wind coming in off the ocean, some spotty drizzle. Not a pretty day, but that's going to keep temperatures pretty low and suppress that warmer air to the south as that backdoor cold front pushes through. So you have to go through the Chesapeake Bay Bridge and Tunnel to get to the warmer air tomorrow. But then that warm front's going to push through the north into Saturday, and then that is when the warmth and the warm-up is going to begin across the area. As we go into Sunday, we're still warm, upper 60s with a cold front pushing through. Could spark a brief shower. Most of the day is dry, and then that warm air is really going to get cranking into early next week. 73 into Monday. Record high for next Wednesday, 77. We're going to come close to 80 degrees across the peninsula, especially away from the coast.
Thank you, Chris. Let's keep on this foggy theme. We have been looking at the road conditions most of the morning, and now we're in Cave Neck Road in the Milton area. Grace, you can see what drivers are experiencing as they get ready for their commute this morning.
Not the most pleasant day to look forward to. Maybe a lot of people are just excited for those temperatures that Chris is forecasting for this weekend. Matt, it's going to be nice.
Yeah, and with this fog, you can see it has caused a number of schools in our area to have delays. So for an update on which schools are operating under a delay, we have that crawl at the bottom of the screen. Also, you can check out CoastTV.com for a full list.
And turning to Virginia now, an adult use cannabis market could be on the horizon. Repeated attempts to legalize recreational sales have failed in past years, but this week lawmakers in Virginia pushed legislation forward that would do just that. If the proposed legislation passes, adults 21 and older could buy up to 2.5 ounces of marijuana from state licensed retailers.
It's a whole process getting things opened up with the town and everything. So, I mean, I don't see anything wrong with it, and tourists would probably like it, but locals, people would probably, they'd struggle. They'd hit roadblocks along that route of opening up a dispensary.
And the House and Senate bills are slightly different now, but lawmakers are eyeing beginning recreational sales either late this year or early next year. The time's now 6:54 a.m. Matt Pensick, we're checking in with our coastal pet of the day, who maybe is a little sleepy.
Yeah, we got our good buddy Benny here. He's making a return appearance. As you can see, Benny is reminding everyone, it's a good reminder here, Chris Mastrobono, to move your clocks 1 hour forward in that Sunday morning area. As always, Benny was submitted to us by Tammy and Seaford.
Matt, he almost looks like Punch the Monkey. Have you seen him
Yes,
going viral with his little toy?
Yeah.
But we want to see more of your pets on Delmarva. You can send us photos, tell us what makes them so special. Maybe they'll be a little sleepy with the clocks moving forward this weekend, just like our good friend Benny. If you take a look at your screen now.
Yeah, there's that QR code top center. Scan it, get your friends to us, and then watch weekdays 5 to 7 a.m. to see all the pets we feature. And we have one final check with First Alert. Meteorologist Chris Mastrobono. Chris, eventually, we're going to see temperatures in the 60s today.
Yeah, especially away from the beaches as we go into the afternoon. We're dealing with that dense fog across the area, so use some caution through the morning. 68, a little warmer inland, cooler at the beaches. Another round of fog tomorrow morning. We're socked into the cloud cover, but after that, we warm up pretty nicely into Saturday, and then look at those temperatures early next week.
Looking forward to it, Chris. Thank you, and thank you for joining us for Coast TV News Today.
Today's show's coming up next at 7 a.m. and have a great Thursday morning, everybody.